Alright, here's something almost nobody survives, the playoffs. Because when April ends, the defenses lock in, the scouting gets surgical, and one by one, the biggest stars in the sport start to shrink. So here's the question, why does this 6'2" guard do the exact opposite? Because the playoffs are where scorers go to disappear. The lane gets walled off, the open threes vanish, and the smallest guy on the floor usually gets hunted into the ground. But Jalen Brunson doesn't fade. He erupts, so let's figure out why. This is game-ist culture. Real quick before we get into it, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps. So click it. First, let's establish the rule, because in the playoffs, scoring is supposed to go down. And here's why. In a 7-game series, a defense gets to study you, so they take away your first option. Then they load up on your second. They trap the pick and roll, and they run you off the 3-point line. In other words, everything that came easy in January suddenly costs you everything in May. That's why most stars lose a step right when it matters most. So watch what that looks like. This is a playoff scoring index where 100 means you scored exactly the same as the regular season. And look at the fall. Joel Embiid drops to 90. James Harden falls to 93. Even the great risers like Curry and Luka barely clear 108. But then there's Brunson, all the way out at 133. So sit with that for a second, because while most stars hold steady or fall, Brunson's scoring jumps by a full third. He goes from a 19-point-a-night regular season guard to a 26-point playoff problem. That's not noise. That's a different player showing up in the spring. Now here's what makes it almost impossible. Let's add height across the bottom and the playoff jump up the side. Normally the bigger you are, the better you hold up in a playoff grind. But look at Brunson. He's the same height as Curry, the same height as Lillard, yet his jump sits way above both of them. So at 6'2", he's doing the one thing a 6'2" guard is least supposed to be able to do. Because think about the disadvantage. A 6'2" guard in the playoffs is a target. Bigger wings switch onto him. Teams hunt him on defense, and he has to score over the top of much longer arms. So by every rule, he should fade harder than anyone. Instead, he rises higher than everyone. And it isn't a one-time fluke. Watch his scoring climb every single spring. As a rookie, just 8, then 21, then 27, then an absurd 32 in 2024, followed by 29. So this is a pattern now. The brighter the lights, the more he scores. Okay, so the real question becomes, why him? Why does the spring belong to Brunson? Here's the secret, the playoffs take away specific things, the easy rim runs, the wide open threes, the fast break, but look at what they cannot take away, the pull-up, the footwork, the patient change of pace. So Brunson's entire game is built out of the exact shots a playoff defense is powerless to erase. And this is the heart of it. Of all the 2-pointers Brunson scores, nearly 80% are unassisted, meaning he creates them himself. No screen needed, no pass needed. So when a playoff defense blows up every set play on the whiteboard, it doesn't matter. His offense never needed the whiteboard to begin with. On top of that, he gets more aggressive, not less. In the regular season, Brunson hits 3.4 free throws a game. But in the playoffs, that climbs to 5.3. So while others settle under pressure, he drives right into the teeth of it and draws the foul. More contact, more easy points, exactly when they're hardest to get. So put it all together. Brunson isn't a system. He's a shot maker, and the playoffs are the one time a year that rewards pure shot making above everything else. So the slower and uglier the game gets, the more the night bends toward him. Real quick though, if you've made it this far, you've really gotta hit subscribe. I'm not gonna beg, but I am gonna ask. So hit it and I'll wait. And just to underline it, in the 2024 playoffs, Brunson averaged 32.4 points a game for an entire postseason at 6'2". That's not a guard having a nice run. That's a guard carrying a franchise on his back. So the verdict. Among the modern stars, nobody raises their scoring in the playoffs like Jalen Brunson does. And for a guard his size, it's essentially unheard of. So while the league's giants shrink in the spring, the smallest lead guard of them all somehow grows. And if you map the toolkit that makes it work, it looks like this. Elite self-creation, elite mid-range, a real knack for drawing fouls, genuine poise with the ball, and the stamina to carry 40 minutes a night. Every single trait on this chart gets more valuable the deeper a series goes. But now the honest cat. The rise is absolutely real. His scoring truly explodes, but there's a tax. His efficiency actually dips a little as the volume climbs. And 81 playoff games is still a smallish sample. So this is a story about scoring and creation. It's not a story about perfect efficiency. So I'm gonna leave it with you. Is Jalen Brunson the best playoff riser of his entire generation? Or is he simply the most stubborn 6'2" guard the league has ever seen? So tell me down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.